Hi, I'm David Schenk. I'm an attorney and an enrolled agent, enrolled to practice before the IRS, and I talk about tax issues, estate planning, and asset protection.
Today we're going to look at this question: can you be fired for having an IRS wage garnishment? Can your employer fire you for having a wage garnishment? The quick answer is no, but the longer answer is sometimes. A wage garnishment is when a court orders your employer to withhold part of your paycheck and pay it directly to your creditors. And normally, under federal law, a creditor can't garnish more than 25% of your after-tax income. But the IRS is different. First, they don't need a court order. And second, they aren't limited to taking just 25%. They can take more than 25%? Yes, they can. The IRS has its own ideas about how much money you need to live. And they are allowed to take everything that you make above that limit. For example, if your filing status is single and you have no dependents, the IRS says that you can live on about $1,200 a month. And they take the rest. The amount that you can keep is higher if you're married and file jointly or if you have dependents, but it's no more generous. But can you be fired? Well, federal law prevents your employer from firing you for receiving a wage garnishment, which is good. However, if you receive more than one wage garnishment, which is possible if you owe debts to other creditors as well as to the IRS, then your employer can fire you for having multiple wage garnishments. Now, the IRS can't garnish your wages without a warning. They're going to send you a letter, final notice of intent to levy, but it doesn't say we're going to garnish your wages. But that's one of the most likely things for them to do, since for most people, their wages are their greatest source of liquid assets. And the IRS much prefers liquid assets. Now you know.
If the IRS is levying your assets or garnishing your wages, whether it's your bank accounts, retirement accounts, your house, your car, your Social Security check, your paycheck, or any other asset, there are steps that you can take. And note that I have individual videos on each of these programs. So one thing that you can do is you can simply pay off the debt. If you have the money or can get the money, paying the debt in full obviously will stop all levies and garnishments, and the IRS will also lift any liens that they have filed against your property. Another option is to file a collections due process appeal if you're within the appeals window. This is an IRS internal appeals process. It's only going to be available to you relatively early in the process. But they're going to pause any collections activities while your appeal works its way through the IRS process. You can also set up an installment agreement. Once you've established an installment agreement, all collections activities are going to cease. However, any liens that the IRS has filed are going to remain in place until the installment agreement is paid in full, or until you get the lien released some other way. You can ask for currently not collectible status. If you can demonstrate to the IRS that you can't pay your basic living expenses while at the same time making payments on your tax debt, you can be put into currently not collectible status. But be aware that the IRS's ideas of how much you need for your basic living expenses is quite low. For example, the IRS says that if you are a single taxpayer without dependents, you can live on about $1,200 a month. I don't know a lot of people who can live on $1,200 a month. You can also file an offer in compromise. An offer in compromise is a formal offer to the IRS to settle your tax debt for less than the full amount. And while they are considering your offer in compromise application, they're going to stop all collections activities, and the process can take from a few months up to as much as 2 years. Additionally, you can file for bankruptcy. When you file for bankruptcy, an automatic stay stops all creditors from any collections activities, and this includes the IRS. If you have a substantial amount of non-tax debt, this can be a really good option. But not all taxes are dischargeable, and it can be tricky to figure out which ones can be discharged. I have a video on this issue as well. If most or all of your debt is taxes, then offering compromise is often a better choice. Or you can file for innocent spouse relief if your situation qualifies. If you are or might be an innocent spouse, the IRS is going to cease collections activities while they consider your application. And finally, check to see if you are approaching the 10-year statute of limitations, which is the limit on which a tax is collectible. You might just be able to wait them out. However, it can be a little tricky to determine exactly when the 10-year statute of limitations is up, because there are many situations that are going to toll or suspend the running of the 10-year limit.
Disclaimer: this video and any accompanying text is for informational purposes only. The information provided does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice. No attorney-client or similar relationship is formed. If you require legal advice, please contact an attorney or other legal professional. This video covers a complex legal area in just a few minutes, and of necessity leaves out much of the detail. Don't make decisions based only on this video.